when it comes to personal development and self-help, it's all about self-awareness with those thoughts and emotional awareness, accountability, and self-regulation. Straightforward for a securely attached, embodied human being. Okay, so I'm attachment trauma informed, but remember I'm a 5D mystic, enlightenment, functional adult, woo-woo pseudoscience for some people, because pseudoscience, I'm not in the academic lab doing research, no. I'm bringing it all together, and I'm bringing human, spiritual, and spirituality elements, because I'm a mystic, remember? Mystic is where some people, they don't believe in us. That's okay, because I know of the physicists who study and look into the hard problem of consciousness, and I understand both. I understand sciences and spirituality. I also experience and perceive both, and they don't contradict because I'm an integrated brain. So disparate ideas can sit in my right mode, and I'm not thinking one cancels the other because I'm a mature person. I'm flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. It's what an integrated brain. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not an adaptive child who needs to get your validation. And so I'm not a maladaptive child, because adaptive is part of it, but usually it's going to turn into maladaptive once you and I have different political, religious, and or whatever else views, and I usually, in fact, don't engage in that at all, because I'm a mature, smart person. Stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. So when I meet a Cusco, I'm a Pacha. And the community at IHP, we're all going to be Pachas, because we don't want a person who wants to be a mantle. Mantles of mental health, mantles of yoga, they're spiritual bypassers, and they're people who have a cape. They think they're superheroes and there's a supervillain, and that there's something to win. I'm going to say there's no superhero, there's no supervillain. This is not a movie. 24 hours, I'm grounded in my body. There's a human, I'm a human. And if there's human suffering, I'm a human. And there's no need to make up some fictitious battle that isn't going on. That's for people who are hypervigilant, who are still with their trauma, dysregulated nervous system, who are acting like what I call teenagers. Some aren't just the basic teenager from secure attachment. Some are with non-secure attachment. Some are with actual disorganized attachment. Some have dissociative identity disorder and they don't go and get good therapy. Some have borderline personality disorder and they don't go either. And so we have a lot of different human suffering groups, because the body that is not securely attached and restorative, that body is going to have suffering here. So they're going to project it outward and inward, and that's where we have a vibration of sympathetic and negativity. And it's not negative because it's bad, it's just that it's a biochemistry of fear. Okay, so people who live on these adrenaline in and out rushes, there's nothing hot. An empowered woman will not find a non-secure attachment human being hot. It will be something that we will at a certain point figure out, okay, this is not anything at all. So smoke and mirrors. Okay? When you meet an empowered woman, you'll meet a woman who knows what it means for you to be emotionally available immediately, because we're all embodied brains. We're all nervous systems. I learned this thank you to my attachment trauma information people, which is why we won't be doing any of the let me tell you how to get to your secure attachment. I'm not your mother. I'm not your therapist. It's really just the martyrs and superiors, the super cape people. Yeah, that's beyond me. That's not a relationship. So relationships are where, whether you're romantically involved, whether you're friendship involved, and remember, I'm a polyamory. Therefore, for me, love is completely different than the monoamory community, which in fact, sometimes I laugh about it because I got here in a series of events that are beautiful. There's no saga or drama with our twin flames. It's called that you and I are choice points for each other. You choose if you're going to walk a walk and talk a talk. I choose if I'm going to walk a walk and talk a talk, and that's the whole part. It's not challenging. So if you shy away from speaking a truth, I am not going to come chasing you for it. And learning about attachment trauma has made me very aware that I won't. In fact, if I meet a Cusco anytime, I already would know it before. Now I know it even better. And it's good for me so that I don't have to use any of my words when all you want is to basically have somebody support you in a moment of whatever it is. It's okay. And this is just in general. Now, what we appreciate are people who take their life seriously, because that's where we know you're healing trauma seriously when you come to healthy self-worth people. And when you're projecting a healthy self-worth person is, again, not going to project. They're going to learn and or know how to handle whatever's coming up. And to the best of our ability, we're going to treat you like a decent human being because you are a human being. Nobody's a devil or a demon. Nobody's possessed. No, if there's anything they all need, every person who has still a cape on needs a good therapist. And that's where I hope that I surround them always as a mystic. They're all surrounded. Every single person in the evil scale of Michael Stone, he's a forensic criminologist. They have a therapist around them. Okay, so we take seriously human life, all life. And I do self-help, personal development, and 5D relationships. So it's always going to be about beyond the solo self, the solo self. And you do love yourself first. If you don't, that's why you don't know what you're getting into. So people who have dysregulation, they're attracted to people who treat them like shit, which is where I'm not surprised. I had noticed already, I'm so unconditionally loving. How is it that men who claim to want it all, so whenever I encountered those choice points, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking, let me think. I don't want to use words. I need to formulate that better in my brain to be respectful and kind to all people out there because, it is hard for when people don't know their 0-1-year-old and 3-year-old wants to come out and play, and it's because of trauma stuff that's taken place and their own karma, their own unconscious. Okay, so it's sensitive material. But long story short, when people come around to people like me, they're wanting a couple of things. And in this case, what I wanted to cover are the people who don't want to do the emotional lifting. So we're going to be an ear, of course. I'm not going to refuse a person who seeks out support in moments of their life. I'm going to notice how you talk to me, though. I'm going to notice if you want to do the emotional work, and then I'm going to notice very quickly, thanks to being attachment and trauma informed, if you're a whiner, and therefore a person who's going to stick to the inner critic, outer critic, Pinocchio lifestyle, drugs, alcohol, sex, food, whatever sob story you want to tell me, love dependence with the desperate, manipulative, we talked about that one today, or the ones in the controlling, angry, squirrels from Cusco land, mermaids with Ursula, and every single one of it. So whenever I'm looking at Venus is a goddess is a May, the trending topics, what I notice, any viral stuff, it's all teenagers. It makes me think of teenagers because teenagers are the ones who are bothered with this limbic system that they don't learn to bring down. So the split thinking, the black and white thinking. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different ways I can share with you that mindset. It's everything. You don't notice I got emotions, you're lying to yourself. You suppress it. Okay, that's not going to be good. It's going to come back up. If there's even more stuff, then we got an even bigger situation at hand because you're going to end up creating more stuff, and at a certain point you're going to look at yourself, and hopefully there's enough room for self-love that you're going to say, okay, wait a minute, let me look at my home. Okay, I didn't have a good example of healthy self-worth relationships. Okay, this makes sense. I'm not going to crap on me. I'm going to go get good therapy. I'm going to figure out how to get out of the addiction wheel if there's an addiction, out of dating with people that don't treat me. I'm going to figure out how to treat myself better and become a member of my society because I want to. So spirituality, again, you don't have to be spiritual. Spirituality is living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self, which you learn from sciences like Daniel Siegel, my interpersonal neurobiology course, my disorganized attachment and dissociative identity disorder course, my course on lifespan of attachment with relationships. Mantles are people who are doing what I consider, after I'd learned about this 4th step to recover from trauma, it's people, they don't even look for the person who brought about the trust break or trauma break or whatever it is that they went through. No, they want bystanders to stand with them, gather around, gather ye, he, she, they, it, and stand up with pitchforks and go and actually attack verbally or basically with a charge. It makes me think of Braveheart. When I heard this 4th step, which they recently have uncovered in recent studies, I was like, okay, that's why YouTube is full of superheroes with mantles and supervillains. Where are the supervillains? Well, so long story short, no supervillains, no superheroes. Nobody needs rescuing. What we want are securely attached people, healthy self-worth. Come on over. Let's be ourselves like decent human beings. No magical wand, but some of us are mystics. Join the woo-woo pseudoscience lady building 5D relationships. So secure attachment. It's really fun. And when people want to be here, they don't make it hard for you to explain to them what they can do to get out of the maladaptive child behavior. The low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive, cancel culture, bullshit, and the boundaries. They say, oh, you know what, that's a great idea. You know what, Hal, tell me more. Let me see what I can do with journaling and mindfulness and meditation and yoga and everything, and good therapy, EMDR, child parts work, somatics. So we take all it seriously. Tune in for more. Have a great day.